Hello, everyone, and this is the third milestone for this project, Tidy or Treat, or Devlog 3. Okay, now this, you can consider a 3.1 because there's a bit of an update. There are issues that I've fixed, which I will go over during the gameplay. But I will note for this video, I will be combining the the video for Milestone 3, the original one, with this one. Just so that way, and also that way, you know that way, it's up to date. But I also will be going over just the game design elements and the things that I did to fix it or to update it. So that do. Let's get right into this. All right. So this main menu, I created it during the third milestone that I did. Basically create like a whole different level, create the scene here, and then create like a UI for the tiny treat, and then the start and quit button. This quits, this starts the game, and that does apply, and it does apply to other UIs, which I'll go over, in the gameplay. The others have it except for the start button, because obviously this is a main menu. Without ado, let's get this one started. Already, I'll say right now, big difference. I actually lowered, the scale from medium to low. Now that back to low, simply because one of the big complaints, one of the things wrong is the lag. Simply the lag. Yeah, let me make sure. Let's get back to it, shall we? Now that I know that's working, let's just get straight to it. Alright, so first add like a trigger voice line. Yeah, I added that. I'll get to that in a minute. First, yeah, but anyways, I lowered the scale from low, and of course, as I said before, adjusted the settings for OBS. That way, when I do record, it's gonna be less laggy. But anyways, let's get down to let's dig into what I did level design wise, shall we? Yeah, it's a little bit laggy, but hopefully hopefully this will come out okay. But one of the big critiques for this game, it's, well, actually two. One of, let's get to it. Yeah, it feels kind of empty, not much space. So I added a bit more stuff for the family home, for this player home. But the other one came from like one of the playtesters, which is creepy vibes, backrooms vibes. That's basically it. So no, now kind of a bit of a situation. You see, this is almost like a prototype. So what did I do? Okay. So initially, oh, there you are. Anyways, it's meant to be this cozy game, which, looking back, I think it may be better for a Unity game engine than an Unreal engine, which I'll discuss that after this playthrough. But I wanna get to the initial game design. Okay, so this is a cozy game, simple game mechanics. Anyways, yeah, simple game mechanics. Pretty much. So in order to, you know, save time, because the thing is, there's like another project that I will be working on, but I really want to make this better. I really want to make it better, enhance the experience. So I had to think about this, and I decided, all right, since we have established, since in my level design game design document that, oh, there's a tradition where it came from this Celtic, holiday, right? So kind of like the real world, and they do sacrifices. Why not lean to that? Make this house. It's a little empty, but it's pretty normal for the most part. It's not that much going on, and that's pretty much what I did. Make it feel like a prototype, so it's kind of like a. You could even say it's like a story within a story, kind of in a way, you're playing as the guy, play testing a game, a prototype level, okay, of a game that's this cozy cleaning game, and that's kind of one way to sort of justify why, for this game in particular, I'm going to lean to the creepy style, to this. All right. So I had to borrow someone's camera, really, because I tried many times, but the OBS still laggy. So hopefully with this, I can get a much smoother. But I will still be adding in. I'll still be adding in, these recordings the into the video, just so you can get my thoughts. But I'll be showing off
be smooth gameplay, and then I'll be like cutting to one of the jack-o'-lanterns, and I'll be talking about that.
You there. I'm told that it's not sleepy here, but there's something unexpected. I need you to prepare, clean your dang house before leaving, or else I can call me when you're really ready to begin. Well, good news is, I know the possible way. The problem is, we don't have the sacrifice. Now, we're stuck comparing the test to hiring the mayor's post after 2023. So, if you can find to give something to bring them all to the statue, offer it to it. Do it before it's too late. Okay?
Alright, here we are at the one of the houses. I turned down the volume of it so that way you can hear me, the gameplay. Hope you understand. But as I'm about to say, yes. So I use the lit jack as a way of like kind of signaling the player, hey, this is a place you can enter. The non-lit ones, not to enter. So what did I do this time around? How did I fix? Okay. Now I said before I kind of want to lean to the creep factor, the backness, that weird. So why not just embrace it? Make it weird, like this, like this right here. I mean, already. Now this is intentional. This is intentional right there, because I want this to be a little weird. Out of place. Like what? Like the player going, what? What the heck is this? This is a violation of game design 101. That's the thing. This is intentional. That's the intent. Make it weird. Get the player to go, okay, what the heck is going on? Why, why is this comfort game about cleaning out of place? Why does it feel a little empty? Why is there no one there? Why is there a random dog person on the roof? Is he like, possessed? I don't know. Sure beats me. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Now, that could have stopped there. That could have stopped there, right? Just a basic weird shenanigans. Nothing off. Nothing off in this neighborhood. It's just a clean. Going around, you clean the house. Okay, I'm a little outside of the neighborhood, but it's a little weird. There's no fences here and there, but surely, this next house, the jack-o'-lantern, right? Now for this house, I want to make things a little weirder, a little weirder. See, not only does this feel a little bit empty here, what's up the decorations? Sure, I mean, there's a mess here, look, nothing out of place, until you enter this room. Clean that mess here, and then you get this. And then there's this mess right here. Now, I chose, and there's this message. Where are you? Very weird now. Very sus. You're like, what the heck does that, what the heck does it mean? Where are you? Now, I chose this wall in particular because, guess what? You're cleaning the message right here, okay? And it so happens, this very mess is closer to the wall. It's closest to the wall. That's why I chose this one. Plus, it's a little easier to read. Essentially, shading. And now, as the player, you're weirded out. That's exactly weird. What the heck is going on? Right? Now, the thing is, I may discuss it in this video, but when I do want the player to not only know where this house is, but when they look to the hill, you know, even in the dialogue it talks about this statue on a hill, you know, hey, go to the statue, you know, his favorite hill. I made sure it's just enough and place the statue in the right place. So the player's like, oh, this is where I need to go next. And not only that, I even took a little step further. While I, was decorating this map regarding the roads, I made sure the pathway, that road, goes to that hill. So it's like, oh, I need to go there. And I even added back the jumping just to make things a little bit easier to navigate up there. Okay? Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just show off, just the regular ending, and then I'm going to cut to when I'm back at the hill, and I'm gonna talk some more. Whoops. Sorry. That was a little weird, but I'll be discussing. Sick. Good thing I added the jump. I think there we go. See? Look at that. Oh yeah, I may want to do commentary about that other thing that I did. Something new that while I'm at that hill. Yeah. Sorry. Man, for someone like me making this game. Alright, here it is. Ready? Now this is the cat statue right here, right? Now, this game kind of makes you go, okay. With the weird stuff going on, makes you want to investigate, right? You want to figure out what the hell is the weird stuff, and then the player's like, what the hell? What the hell is a black? Okay, I will show you. what will happen, okay? Sorry. I'm going to plant that curiosity and I'm gonna hold it ransom. For now, at the very least. But for now, let's just see the end, the end menu. See how that plays out. Wow. Okay.
It's
Normal.
fit.
See, very normal, and you get this screen. Not that special. Now, let's just cut to. All right, guys. All right. Now we're back on this. Okay. Y'all have seen the normal ending. Okay? Y'all have seen. Now you may be like, Michael, what the heck? What is the significance with the black spear? Okay, you're kind of weirding me out, Mike. And I'm like, okay, time to show you. Okay, let's reveal it. Let's just reveal it now, shall we? Let's reveal it, shall we? There it is. There it is, guys. Now, your first thoughts would be like, probably be like, what in the unholy Halloween level did you just make? Okay, let me cook. Just let me cook for a second. Okay, so when you enter this black sphere, you get this. Why did I design this way? What's up? After this, I want to go the creepy route. This is a secret, sort of to reward the players. Trying to find, you know, and this is far more weird. So weird. Can't kind of. Oh yeah, I made that music by the way. Intentionally creepy. Now, oh yeah, fun fact about that. This is more of an edited, distorted version of one of the other music I composed, and let's just say it's more friendlier, nicer in terms of sound than this one right here. Yeah, this is Halloween. Plus, it's Halloween. It's meant to be creepy. It's meant to be creepy. But I also want to tie everything in. Cat statue. So, what is this? Okay, this is kind of this limbo creep. Being limbo creepy. You know, area that you can find. You can enter once you find that place. Okay, once you explore and you find it, it rewards you with this. Now this is where you just have to press on. Now I made this empty on purpose. Really make you feel very, 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 very small. It kind of gives you the creeps, like makes you feel alone. You make the player feel they're alone. As they slowly approach the statue. You see, what the heck are these? come closer and closer and closer. And then you're gonna find, oh yeah, there's a bunch of dog people. Just dog people. Big cats. Okay, and then these big humanoid versions. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's also that, that too, but it's creepy. Okay. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. The one thing I added was a twist when the player discovers it, okay? Okay? This twist is this, okay? You know that boss, your boss, okay? Again, this is like a game within a game, okay? You're playing as a protagonist who's playtesting a game, playing as the protagonist, cleaning, in a house, okay? Here's the twist. Oh, that Philia goddess, okay, is real. Okay, this game, this whole playtest, where the dog imagery, okay, the cat imagery, okay, this is a cult, okay, and by you discovering this, you have essentially doomed yourself, okay? You, the player, have now sealed your fate as the next sacrificial lamb, in a sense. Okay? So I'll cut to the main menu just to get you the idea of what that ending's gonna be like. Alright, and this is what the ending would look like. Now notice, there's something different about this. And I'll be talking about that now. I'll be muting this. We don't need to hear. But essentially there's something different about this, right? Sacrifice. Secret ending. Okay. Now it still has the thanks for playing demo. But notice here, it reveals who the boss is. The cult leader. Yep. Congratulations. Now this one, the secret ending, this is meant to be the bad ending. Okay? Because you went astray from doing your typical, playtests. Just clean the mess, get to the cat statue. Apart from that, let's talk about this. Okay? Apart from the creepy stuff, apart from that, making it a little creepier, making it a little weird, what influenced it, okay? Because when I'm like, okay, how could I make this creepier? And then two games pop into my mind. Shipwrecked 64, Fallout New Vegas, which I know this is coming from a Fallout fanatic, but hear me out. Okay? Hear me out on that other one. Okay? Shipwreck 64 is that game. Okay? It's like that lost Nintendo 64. Okay? It also kind of has that creepy, secrets within that game. Okay? But the cool thing is it mixes with ARG elements. That is kind of what I use as kind of like groundwork when it comes to expanding on the game. You know, leaning to the idea. Okay, there's not much decorating the houses. Okay? There's not that much. There's no cars. There's no people. What the heck happened? So I kind of lean to that. Kind of lean to the creepiest. Heck, the first playtester was even kind of creeped out by this. Even kind of freaked out when doing that playtest. Okay, when I conducted it. But Fallout New Vegas? What? That's not a horror game. How can that, influence? Okay. They have this DLC called Dead Money, okay? And in that one, it had the red clouds, okay? The red sky. I'm like, that was kind of creepy. It had creepy stuff. It's like the only DLC that comes close, leans more to the horror. Okay, let's say that. Okay? But do my own thing. That's really what I did there. And apart from that, I will be cutting to my past self and I'll get started editing. But, whew, let's go.
Hey, future me here. So I've got to turn my microphone back on while I was recording. So it's gonna sound a little weird, but also during the discussion part of this very video, I will be showing off some images to show you, behind the scenes. It's not much, but still important that I may as well show off. So the way is different here is I really want to guide the player around the map since matter of fact, both of the play testers complain, the one thing they complain about is not really knowing where to go. That's one of the things. And I see, and really it all comes down to there's no sense of direction. Now, although they managed to figure out the game mechanics without, being told, hey there, go to this checkpoint. Hey there, press E to do whatever. I just want the player to just casually just explore the map, find the houses and clean the mess. So what I did, I used the street assets along with the pumpkins and the street lights to guide the player. So that way they are shown these are the directions you can go without being explicitly told what to do. And just leave the player to figure that out. As well as the pumpkins to visually not only, have the jack-o'-lanterns out because it's Halloween, but also have the lit ones, which both of them I created by creating a empty actor blueprint and then just assembling the parts. But for the lit one, I did the same thing, but I added a light spot. That way, it looks like an actual lit jack-o'-lantern, and I placed it at the houses, where it needs to be cleaned. That way, they just know, yep, this is a house that needs to be cleaned. Let's just go in, clean. But what's really different than my pre-production, really, I just kind of tweaked, the grass plains simply because the player's not gonna be exploring that much, and it's in that thought process of really just trying to be in the scope, but almost be in this mindset of perhaps being like multiple levels. But yeah, again, it's its own game. But more importantly, I had like triggers for when the voice line's activated and at the cat statue when the game ends. That way. But I have made the hill so high, so big. So that way it's a vocal. It's a viewing point. Make it stand out. So that and also make sure there's room. There's like a pathway to it. So that way when they're done, they get the candy. They go to that very hill and see, to go to it. I also decided to add the lighting last in the project, simply because, it's very important. I get the level layout, the level design done. Game mechanics, number one importance, but number two has to be levels. It has to be the layout. And speaking of layout, for the houses needing to be cleaned players, I added some assets into there just to make it feel lived in and to, show how the house was before, there's a mess that needs to be cleaned. Just so when they're entering a house, it doesn't feel like they're just walking into like an empty house. But more importantly, the reason why I did the roads, street lamps, and changed like the scalability, which I'll be showing in the video how probably show the difference between low and medium, apart from need to be polished. Look, really to capture that warm, cozy autumn season. It's October. Yes, it's spooky. But you cannot have the spookiness without the cozy feeling of autumn before winter rolls around in December. But far from the point. You want the player to feel that way. And that's why I did the way I did. As well as to make it feel like they're wandering around the neighborhood and not just some level that they're just plopped in. But apart from that, I'll be exporting the project after this after this and other than that, I'll see y'all later. See ya.